All right. Welcome back, everyone. This is Ebony again, a.k.a. Fit Mom Diva of Simplicity House Style. And today we have Miss Amanda with us. How are you, Amanda?
Woo, woo. I'm doing great, Ebony. How are you doing? I'm so honored to be here. Thank you.
Thank you. And I just love your energy. You guys, she's an awesome person. And I had an opportunity to talk to her about a few things. And she's just such a wealth of information for someone that's her age. So as a form of appreciation, those of you that stick around to the end, you will have an opportunity to earn a complimentary gift as a form of appreciation. So stick around
Wow,
and
thank you.
let's see what Miss Amanda wants to share with us today. So
Yes.
Amanda, so we get to know a
Yes.
little bit about you. Can you start off just by sharing a motivational quote, something that inspires you, encourages you, and gets you going?
Yes, Ebony. So that is such a great way to start because I'm such a motivational person and such an inspirational um speaker in the sense that whenever I talk with anyone, my friends, they never know if they're gonna get like, the motivational speaker side of Amanda or just like, sometimes like Amanda, I don't want a pep talk from you. I just want to talk to you as my friend. But I really believe that the experiences that I've gone through in my life have qualified me, that energy that you see, that bubbliness, it wasn't always there. And I live by motivational quotes. So I'm going to do something a little bit unorthodox. So I know you normally do like the quotes and everything like that, but I actually want to do just a short, like 30-second read of my favorite poem. And my favorite poem is called Still I Rise by the wonderful and the phenomenal Maya Angelou. Yes, Maya Angelou. And unfortunately, she is deceased right now. But if anyone knows Oprah, and everyone should know Miss Oprah Winfrey, they know that Oprah was like a daughter to Maya Angelou. And Oprah was actually mentored a lot by Maya Angelou. And so this poem that I'm going to read is called Still I Rise. And I'll read a portion of it. And as you're reading it, like you'll know why these words just change, 13-year-old Amanda's life. So
Okay.
here we go. Yes, here we go. You may shoot me with your words. You may cut me with your eyes. You may kill me with your hatefulness. But still, like air, I'll rise. Does my sexiness upset you? Does it come as a surprise that I dance like I've got diamonds at the meeting of my thighs? Out of the huts of history's shame, I rise. Up from a past that's rooted in pain, I rise. I am a black ocean, leaping and wide, welling and swelling, I bear in the tide. Leaving behind nights of terror and fear, I rise into a daybreak that's wondrously clear. I rise, bringing the gifts that my ancestors gave. I am the dream and the hope of the slave. I rise, I rise, I rise. Okay, there is a lot of I rising in that poem, and I don't know about you, Ebony, but I just feel so empowered when I read that. And for me at the time when I was 13 years old, not only was I immigrated from Jamaica, and I had only been living in the States for a few years, and I also was so socially awkward. Like for me to even talk to you right now, like 10 plus years later is something that only God could have done. And one of the ways that I got out of my shell and out of just my past of bullying, I was bullied a lot. Like I said, I struggled with self-esteem issues, and I wasn't a confident teenage girl. But Maya Angelou herself, her story is so unique because she also came from a past that was painful. She was raped. She experienced several downfalls, and it was through her poetry that she began to feel this cathartic release. And at the time, I was just reading the poem, to compete in a local competition. Like I just wanted to get my gold medal, and I wanted to get over my fear of public speaking. And being, someone who is an aspiring actress, I knew that I had to start doing something. And that's how I started getting out of my shell, was through this poem. And I think a lot of people need to resonate with the fact that still, the word still, they can always still rise out of their past. They can always still rise out of their mistakes that they made yesterday. You know, they can rise out of that dysfunctional family environment that they were born in. They can rise out of, for me, like it was bullying, having low self-esteem issues. I think we need to remember, Ebonie, that you can always become who God has created you to be. And, you know, my book, you know, it is titled, here it is, Becoming. And it's no coincidence that Michelle Obama, the wonderful Michelle Obama, you know, her new book is also called Becoming. I do want to say that I published, Ebonie, my book 1 month before, but still, you know, it's no competition. But at the same time, I think it's amazing that there's a commonality with the theme of becoming. And once you decide to make that decision to rise, you realize that you're going to be on your journey to becoming who God has created you to be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And talking about the journey, that leads into what I want to ask you next, because we all know that it's not all roses and sunshine at all times. You're going to have obstacles come. You're going to have challenges that you have to face. There are going to be people that may be around during one season and then they're gone in the next, and it's still all okay. As a matter of fact, if it was all one straight line, it would actually be quite boring, right?
Right.
So talk a little bit about a time in your life where you didn't necessarily see the light at the end of the tunnel and had to overcome some obstacles and some challenges. But at the end of the day, you were able to bring that goal or that dream to fruition.
Yes. So I like what you said, that life is not a straight path. And for me, being someone who is such a perfectionist and a type A personality, you can imagine, like, when I have something that like shocks my world, or I finally have, you know, something along my path that doesn't go the way I wanted it to go, it's been a growth opportunity for me to learn to let go. You know, I really believe that God allows those challenges to shape us into who we need to be. And for me, I've had several life challenges, and I talk about that all in my book, Becoming. But a most recent challenge that I've had is where, I had to juggle not only writing my book at the time, so that was summer 2018. I was in college writing a book, and at the same time during that summer, that was only like 6 months ago, Ebonie, I was studying abroad in a foreign country by myself. And on top of that, I was applying for medical school at the time because I thought I was going to medical school at the time. And I was taking the most advanced, difficult courses, like I said, in this city called Granada in Spain. And it was such a struggle because, you know, when you're really trying to fulfill the calling of God in your life, I was like, God, are you sure you told me to write this book right now when I have like 700 different things going on? But he was like, yes, I mean, like, you need to rely on my strength and not on your own strength. And like I said, I'm so used to doing things on my own that I really believe that he allowed me to write this book during a time where I didn't have the time to do it at all. And so there were many times, Ebonie, where of course I wanted, after a hard day of class in this foreign country, I wanted to just go home to my room, you know, it's hot weather, and just sleep or do something and relax or hang out. You know, they have a lot of bars in Spain, and, you know, get some tapas, which are like little appetizers in Spain. I wish I could do that. But at the same time, I had to write this book, and I had to realize that this book was not only about me releasing from the pain from my past, but this book was also for other people that needed to hear my story. They needed to hear that, listen, if this girl, you know what I'm saying, she's only 20 years old, I was only 20 years old at the time, if she could get through that, I can get through anything. Because, you know, but how could they read my story if I didn't write the book? And so I would have to spend like 8 hours every day after going to a full day of classes in a coffee shop. And it was a routine thing. Like, you know, they say that a journey of 1,000 miles, it begins with one step. And I didn't really know what that meant until summer 2018, where I had to really apply that to my life. And sometimes in life, you won't feel like getting up and facing that challenge. And for me, it was understanding that this was much bigger than me. And so I spent that month or 5 weeks, I spent 5 weeks studying, really just pushing through with my classes. But at the same time, I was also writing my book. And like I said, if it just took me just doing 1 hour per day, that's what I would do, to 6 hours sometimes. But I had to really buckle down and realize that this needed to be done. And I really want to encourage people who feel like they cannot overcome that insurmountable challenge, whatever it is. I want to remind them of a quote that my book coach, Kenny Jones, actually shared with me when I was just feeling so overwhelmed. And it's a quote, and it says, "The seeds you plant for a forest, it has to look like a graveyard." So in other words, when you're starting off, you're not always going to see the light at the end of the tunnel. You're not always going to see this magical fantasy of, your dreams come true. Overnight success, is real, but there are many nights behind that led to what people see as that overnight success. And so eventually when I came back from Spain, me deciding to put aside my feelings. Sometimes we can get in our feelings, the song "In My Feelings," we can get in our feelings, but sometimes you have to override those feelings and be like, listen, my tomorrow is going to thank me for what I did yesterday. And me completing my book, publishing it, it was not by my strength at all. Like I said, there were many times where I would just have neck pains from sitting down, like with my head, writing, studying, applying for medical school at the time. And I had to focus on centering myself, remembering, number one, why am I doing this? And number two, like looking towards what that would look like in the future. And so 2 months later, from July, I actually published my book, September 30th, 2018. And that was the light at the end of the tunnel for me, because it was difficult, but it reminded me that we're stronger than we think.
Yes. And sometimes people know exactly what they want to do. So they might say, I want to write a book. I want to be a screenwriter. I want to do X, Y, Z. They might know exactly what they want to do. And they've always known it since they were 8 years old, for example, but they don't feel like they necessarily have the level of support that they need in order to achieve that dream. And I know that you had people helping you. You had your book coach helping you. I'm sure you had other family and friends that were of support to you. So can you talk a little bit about what someone can do if they don't have a support system, or they don't feel like they have a strong support system to help them implement how to get from A to Z with the goal or intentions that they have in mind?
Right. And that's I think the support system actually is one of the largest life hurdles that I had to not only overcome, but I had to learn, and learn very quickly at such a young age. So at the time when I was writing my book, really my book coach was my primary support system, actually. And I didn't always have the support of my family. They sometimes, we can impose expectations because they're blood or they're not blood. And I didn't always have the support of my friends, my classmates at the time when I was writing the book. No one around me as a college student was doing what I was doing. So I didn't have someone to be like, yo, like, what do I do? You know what I'm saying? Like, how do I get through this? Like, I feel like I'm alone. I feel like I'm all in my headspace. I didn't always have, a strong support system. And when I look back at whether that was me deciding to run for a student government president, in a school where I'd only been a student for a year, I had people, my classmates, telling me to my face, like, Amanda, there's no way you can do that. One is going to vote for you. You know what I'm saying? To either that me local class, my teacher literally like, Amanda, I don't skill set to be professor. I don't think you have this to do this. Consider reading in this class. And I say that the devil is a liar, okay? Because if you have something that God is giving you to do, and that it's been placed in your hands for such a time as this, you are not going to allow the mouths of other people to get in your way. And I call those mouths, right, those voices, naysayers. And any great person, if you look at their lives and where they are, and where they are today, it all started with people doubting them. But there was a time where I had to come in my life, and I said very quickly, I had to learn very quickly that I'm always going to have people that doubt me. But the question is, do I know who I serve? That's G-O-D, okay? And number two, do I believe in myself? And I bring out my book again because my whole journey has been about believing in myself. Because if I don't believe in myself, how can someone else believe in me? And so all these great feats that I've accomplished, in my life has, number one, been by God. But number two, it's believing, like everybody's saying, gas yourself up, like pat yourself on the back. You know what I'm saying? Even if you make that one small step, it's still a step that you've made. Pat yourself on the back. Talk to yourself. For me, I had to really spend some time with myself because I realized I was looking for my support system from people that one day would be here and one day they won't be there. And so the thing is, what do you do when they leave? Your support system leaves. So that's why your support system has to be rooted, I believe, in God, but also has to be rooted in your own beliefs. And so for me, it was talking to myself. Ebonie, it was making sure that if I had motivational quotes or listening to positive messages, and also just reminding myself that I can do this. I'm more than a conqueror, through Jesus. And so that's what I did. And that's why I am where I am today. I'm not where I want to be, but I've come a long way. And that's from believing in myself. And so my advice to people who are struggling with with having a strong support system is be your own support system until God brings you to people who will be your support system. And I think that happens when you, number one, take that first step. The people that I have right now that are cheering me on, my friends and my mentors, they didn't come until, number one, like, for example, I published the book and then I met them at a conference and then it was, it went down, it went uphill from there. So that's kind of my advice, is to make the first step, and the people that you need are already there, but they can't meet you if you don't make that step first outside of your comfort zone.
Yeah. And I also say to people too that you might have support, but you also have to make sure that you're taking very good care of yourself. So one of the things I talk about is you making sure that you are feeding yourself, your spirit, and feeding your environment in such a way that it prompts you to actually have the energy to carry out whatever your vision and your dream is. Because sometimes you can have all the support in the world, but if you don't have the energy to actually carry it out, well, you're not going to get very far. You know how
Right.
you have, sometimes you have your strongest cheerleaders around you and they're like, oh, you can do it. And maybe you even believe in yourself. You believe you can do it, but you're just always overly exhausted. And that's something that's very easy to do in certain geographical locations where there's a lot more stress. I know that for myself, I'm originally from the Maryland, DC area, and that's different from where I currently live in Tampa, Florida, where it's a more laid back atmosphere. Whenever I go home, it's like I can feel the stress in the air, and you're sitting in traffic for many hours of the day and everything is so rush, go. And it makes it difficult sometimes to slow down and also to give yourself the care that you need in order to feel at your best so that you could serve at your best. Can you talk a little bit about that? Can you talk about maybe some challenges that you've had with self-care and what the relationship is in your mind as far as taking care of yourself and you being able to actually realize your dreams?
Wow. Oh my goodness. So you're talking to somebody, Ebonie, who until the past 6 months, I didn't know what self-care was. I thought I knew what self-care was, but I did not. And I just want to, before I answer that completely, I want to backtrack on my experience in Spain. Spain is a very lax atmosphere. It's a very, they have siestas. Okay, they have siestas where they can take 3 to 4 hours, close down the pharmacy, close down the stores, and it's like go home with your family, eat some tapas, you know what I'm saying, and take a nap. When I was there, I was such a type A person, and at the time, I was pre-med at the time, and so I was so used to always studying and freaking out and hyping myself up to the point of like exhaustion that I was like, are these people crazy? They take 1 hour just to sit down with their friends and have a coffee. That was a life-changing experience for me because, the people there, they were like, what is she doing? Why is she always on the go? People like America is a system of like, grab a bagel, grab a Dunkin' Donuts, like coffee, and, you're off to work. That's not what they do. And I needed that experience. I'm so grateful that I had the opportunity to study abroad and go to Spain because I needed that experience to understand that life is not just about working. Life is not just about hustling. I think we're so used to hustling, like saying, listen, I hustle all day, every day. We want to say we hustle, but sometimes we can be moving, but we're not even moving at all.
Yeah.
And when I understood that, and really like, I had to take a step back. And so one of my self-care methods today is taking a step back. When I know myself, and I think it's important to know yourself. No one can know you like you know you. And so when you or I can't, really frustrated, I have irregular, have all those things happening to me. Now I'm like learning to be disciplined and take a step back. You know what I'm saying? Taking a step back for me is like, okay, Amanda, you're obviously not where you're supposed to be. Get it together. Walk away. And walking away, I've actually had to walk away from my studies at one point. And being so used to running around and being this student who's always achieving. Last semester, I like actually walked away, and I almost didn't do well in a course. Almost did not do well in a course, but at that time, sometimes you have to prioritize your self-care, your mental health over your work and over school, because you want to be there to continue anyway. If you have to take a break or take a gap year, by all means do that. And so for me, one of the biggest ways I take a step back, Ebonie, is by journaling. Journaling is so cathartic. Like now I do it every day. You know what I'm saying? Like I can go through one composition notebook, and it doesn't have to be a fancy journal, guys. Like it can be like a cheap composition notebook from the dollar store. That's what I do. And I just journal my thoughts, like, why am I feeling this way? And the next thing I do is I actually started going to counseling. And before, like I said, I wanted to be this person who had it all together. But the more I started relying on myself and holding in all these feelings, holding in all these hurts and these pains, I was just destroying myself even more. I had so much toxicity in me. And don't be ashamed to seek help. Don't be ashamed to tell your friends what's really going on. I'm so used to being the strong person for everybody and being the person that's always, like I said, being your hype man, like your motivational speaker, that I didn't have anything in me to even motivate even myself. Okay. And then another thing too is having a relationship with God. Having a relationship with God has been so amazing, because I understand that even though I'm not perfect, He's perfect. And I understand that even though I may not always feel loved, He still loves me. And you who's watching, He loves you no matter what you've done, or no matter how you may feel like you're far back in life. You know what I'm saying? Like you may feel like you're behind, but you'll be surprised that it just takes stepping back and self-care to have clarity. And I think that's why I recommend self-care for me is clarity, because God is not the author of confusion. So if you find yourself being frustrated and confused, like I have sometimes felt, I know that I don't have clarity. And that's why I recommend self-care, because you gain that clarity, and you also gain a peace. You actually gain more energy in doing those things that you want to do. Like you're more enjoyable to be around. Your friends get the better side of you. You know what I'm saying? You're more productive in your life. And so that's why I recommend self-care. And, don't be like me and wait until you have a midlife crisis at the age of 20 years old, battling with depression because I had all these things going on, because I didn't want to admit that I needed help. And so, number one, get help. And number two, take a step back. Yes.
You said a lot, and everything that you said is so on point. And one of the things that I took from that also is that just, opening up to your friends. I know some of my friends would probably be like, I wish Ebonie wouldn't open up so much so that she wouldn't sit and talk my head off for an hour.
That's me.
They're okay. They're okay with that. They're totally okay with it. Sometimes I feel like, man, you just sat and let me talk for an hour, huh?
Yeah, that's me. But sometimes, I think that's why we need Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say sometimes, that's like very therapeutic for you, but it can also be therapeutic for them listening too, because then they're saying,
Yeah.
oh, okay, well, I'm not the only one going through XYZ, and so you're helping them as they're listening to you, they're also processing their own life. So I think that, having people in your support circle that you can trust and people that are okay with you venting and, celebrating with you, everything that comes with a good quality friendship, I think is so, so key. And if you don't have those people
Exactly.
if you don't have those people in your life, it doesn't mean that those people don't exist. Sometimes stepping outside of your immediate circle and looking for more friends, that
Yes.
might be the key. I know in my area, there's local community groups that you can find online where you can meet up with each other in various different topic areas. It could be anywhere from, health and wellness to a Bible study to let's have game night together. Let's learn how to paint pictures together. Let's travel together. There's so many different topic areas that you should never really be alone in this life. If you're alone, it's just because you haven't searched enough for the right type of people that you
Or
feel.
yeah, or you've chosen
Yeah.
that. I think that loneliness, Ebony, is a lie.
Yeah.
And I'm saying that because I was a person, I was like, oh my God, I don't have any friends, no one likes me. But then I was like, wait, like there's 7.5 billion people in this world, billion people in the world. If you need to take a gap year and go to Italy, you know what I'm saying, and find an Italian boyfriend. I'm kidding, but like you know what I'm saying. Like if you need to take that, you can do that. And for me, I'm such a bubbly and outgoing person. I'm not naive, and I know that I have to use the spirit of discernment. But at the same time, I would talk to anybody, and I think that the quote is not what you know. Oftentimes, it's who you know, and I think that's why I've achieved so much in my life, and I've gone so far is because of simply my connections, because I was that person that would go up to you and talk to you at the conference. I was that person that would like get your number even though I've only talked to you for like 2 minutes. You know what I'm saying? Like that is something, because you never know. And listen to your instinct. Like a lot of people, they say it's their instinct, it's their conscience. For me, it's the Holy Spirit. And so if God is like, go talk to that person, you know what I'm saying? I'll go talk to that person. Like get outside of your comfort zone, because you never know when you will need them and if they would need you in the future. So it's a two-way street.
Yes, yes. And I totally, totally agree with that. And I also think that, you can learn from people of all different ages, all different backgrounds, and all different even spirituality and religious backgrounds too. I think that we can all gain a lot of insight from each other and use that insight to help us in our next steps and in our experiences too. I know that there have been times where I had conversations with people that I didn't have anything really much in common with, but there are certain things that they might have said that later on I utilized that advice that they gave or their experience. I thought back on their experience. So just getting out there and being open to having conversations with different types of people too, I think is key. Now, if the person is, toxic and demeaning and is super negative, that's
when you cut it off. That's when you cut it off. You severe that line, Ebony. You cut it off.
That's a different story. I'm not talking about those people. Just put a disclaimer out there for everybody. But but you guys know what I'm saying. Like the type of person that is about something, and that is
exactly.
And to help you and support you and be kind.
Yeah. And when I said,
not
I'm so excited about this.
No, that's okay. I was gonna say not someone that you think is gonna backstab you. We all know the difference.
Yeah.
Amanda, what do you have to conclude with? I know that for people listening, some people might be saying, that's all well and fine, but I don't know what to do from here out. I've been, practicing affirmations. I've been going to church and praying. I've been putting myself in situations where I can meet new people. I've been exercising. I've been doing all the things that you guys are suggesting on doing, but I still feel stuck. For those of you that do feel that way, one thing I can tell you is that sometimes it's that you can know a little bit more about yourself in order to know how to utilize your gifts. There are, you know, certain things you can do. You can go through the motions of doing all those things that we just mentioned. But I know for some people, it wasn't until they really discovered what their natural gifts and strengths and talents were, and
Yes.
enjoying that with their life experience, whether that's career experience, volunteer experience, or just regular life experience, when they learned how to integrate all that together as a foundation, that's when they began to thrive. And if you join my Nutrition for Busy Women Facebook group, that link is in the description box. If you join that group or send me an email, if you don't, you know, use Facebook, I will give you complimentary assessments to help you determine your gifts, strengths, and understand a little bit more about yourself so that you do get more of that clarity that Amanda was just talking about a few minutes ago. So all of that's going to be in the description box. But Amanda, from your viewpoint, those people that are listening, if they're feeling like that stuck feeling, I don't know how to progress to the next level, what words of encouragement can you give someone like that?
Yeah, I want to first of all start out by saying that you guys are not alone. You know, it's so easy with social media, and it's so easy with people that are around you that seem to be more successful or more prosperous than you are. It's so easy for us to do that comparison syndrome. And I know you talked about that, Ebonie, in your blog, and I really vibe with that. And social media can be such a lie because, you know, people post their stuff, the highlight reel of their lives. And the biggest thing I can say to people who feel like they're stuck is you're not alone. Like, your girl over here, I thought I was going to be doing medical school, you know, right after I graduated, and I'll be graduating in like 3 months by God's grace. Yes. And I thought I knew what I wanted to do. Okay. I thought I'm going to be an OBGYN. I'm going to go straight into medical school. But then I kept hearing that little voice that's like, and that little voice, you know, for me is God. I kept hearing that little voice like, Amanda, you still have, remember that dream of acting? Remember that dream of writing? Remember that dream of motivational speaking and, you know, being on the Ellen DeGeneres, okay, speaking into existence. Yes. Remember those those dreams? And I was like, yes, God, I remember them indeed. And so I'm going to not only pursue God's calling on my life, but I'm also going to pursue those dreams. And I want to challenge you guys in those ruts. Sometimes you get so caught up doing what you're so used to doing. And I want you guys to take a step back and ask yourself, is this really what I want to do? Am I doing it because my parents have forced me to do it? Okay. And I can relate to that. Am I doing it because my friends are doing it? Am I doing it because I want to look like I'm successful? I'm at a high paying job, but at the same time, I'm not happy. What makes you happy? What makes you happy? And I can guarantee you more than 99% of the time, you find that there's something that you push to the side because you thought it was impossible. You push to the side because you thought it was unattainable. You thought, oh my God, what if everybody laughs at me because I wanted to write this blog? What if everyone laughs at me because I leave my position to pursue a career in being a chef? Whatever that is, you be happy because you will find your happiness in doing what makes you happy. And also understand that you're not living your life for people. And we can hear that. But for me, I wanted to live my life for not only just my family and my friends. I wanted to live my life for my professors. I wanted to live my life and be this perfect person. But in the inside, I knew that I was not connecting to my true self. I was not my most authentic self. And in the end, you're not going to answer to people. At the end of the day, when you go home, it's just going to be you. And you want to make sure that you did what was right for you. So if you're feeling stuck, guys, understand that number one, you're not alone. But number two, understand that being stuck is not a place that you have to be. It's a choice. And you can make that decision. And so if you see that everything else is not working around you, for me, I pray. I had to spend some time, quiet time with God and be like, okay, God, so these routes are not working. What is it that you really want me to do? And then from there, you get your answer. Or even if you don't have an answer, you know, you're not going to know the answer all in one day. Start making a step towards your dream. Take that painting class. Take that cooking class. You know what I'm saying? Go to that organization, you know, sign up, do that job, that new job application. And from there, you'll find that life will unfold to your true destiny and where you were meant to be.
Yes, thank you so much. And one of the things that you mentioned that I hear people talk about quite frequently because social media is, so popular, and they say that, social media is as a highlight reel. And I always think of it in terms of it's kind of like a photo album almost. Like if you were to go to someone's house
Yes.
back in the day, they probably had multiple photo albums of their family trips and, their happiest moments, their birthdays and Christmas, all the things that you take pictures at. And I always think about social media similar to that. So instead of relying on what people are saying or not saying on social media, I always think about it just like it's a photo book. Like, are they going to put pictures of them sitting on toilet or having a fight?
Or having a fight. Or having a fight, yeah.
Like that really shouldn't even be a big thing if you have enough support and close people to actually have real conversations with.
And that believe in you.
Yeah. If you don't have those close relationships, then I can see that being more of an issue because now you're relying on your social media to fix that void. But if you have those, and that's why I was talking about in your local area, at least in my area, there are local community groups where you can meet on a weekly basis. Some of them, I believe, is even on a daily basis in different areas of interest. And you immediately form a circle of people that you can have real, true conversations with. So for me, when I go on social media, I don't feel like I necessarily have to lean on them in order to like feel good about myself because I already have people that support me in my life, So I think sometimes just realizing that all these people that you see around you every day, walking down the street, people right next door to you, you probably don't even say 2 words to them. Why don't you take the time and actually talk to real people around you? Like we
right.
Yeah. So I think it just goes back to what we were saying a few minutes ago about support. And I think that also helps you in your, stuck season as well. Because
and be the first person to say hi.
Yeah.
Be the first person to take a step that has never been taken in your family. Be the first person to tread new waters that your classmates have never treaded. Like, be the first person. And it's scary as heck, it is, but at the same time you understand that you're actually being a trailblazer and you're being someone that can pave the path for other people to come along the way. And in doing so, you actually find that, wow, you are the boss. You are the beast. You are doing the whole thing.
That's how we met. That's how we met. I just started a conversation with you and voila, here we are today.
Literally, I think like a week and a half later, right? I mean, I was like, yes. And I appreciate you. I mean, and I appreciate you just seeing something about me and wanting to know more about that. And really all of that energy and that light, like I said, comes from God alone. It comes from God. And it just comes from knowing that my life, was not created only for me, but it was also created to make an impact for people. And I know that that's what I'm going to be doing really for whatever my life career ends up being. It's going to be about people and understanding and letting them know that where they are today is not where they have to be. They can always #become who God has created them to be.
Yeah, and thank you so much. And for those of you that are listening, if you want to have a copy of her book, all of her contact info will be in the description box. Amanda, as you see, is somebody that is very much open to collaborating with positive, like-minded people, and she's full of light. So I would just say utilize the fact that she has contact information there and wants to connect with you. I think that sometimes people are afraid to connect with others because they view it as, I don't know, what if she rejects me? What if she says no? Or stranger danger, you can't talk to strangers. And I'm telling you today that Amanda is a person that you want to connect with.
Thank you, Ebonie. Thank you.
You're welcome. And any of you that want to connect with an online community, as I said, my Nutrition for Busy Women Facebook group link is there as well. My email address is there. Connect with me. And if you want to share your story and you want to share your experiences with others, you can connect with me as well, because this is an ongoing interview series and you just never know what you're going to say to inspire the right person. So I encourage you to reach out to me if you feel like you want to share your own experiences. Amanda, thank you so much. I appreciate you. I really do.
Yes, thank you, Ebony. This was so fun. And congrats to you on everything that you're doing and giving a voice that needs them. And I pray that God will continue you in everything that you're doing.
Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate that. Wherever you guys are in the world, I appreciate you as well. And always remember to live a life full of meaning and purpose. I'll talk to you guys soon in our next episode.